Hello and welcome to my channel. Alright, so it's April, spring, a new season, new beginnings, and I would really like to draw more this month. So in this video, I'm going to be making a sort of bullet journal / interactive calendar to keep me accountable of all my art goals. I'm making the calendar itself part of the challenge too, and I have a small solution for days I cannot draw. But I'll go over that a bit later. Anyway, let's get started. The first thing you will do is create a concept for your calendar. You want to make your calendar look fun, and by customizing and making the calendar yourself, maybe you'll be more inclined to use it. I'm going for a Frutiger Aero, Vaporwave, and Retro concept, but you can do whatever you want. I do encourage to theme it because it will make things more cohesive and aesthetic, especially since you might be drawing in the calendar throughout the month. The second thing you have to do is to establish your art goals for the month and also the time you can make for each goal. For example, I would really like to draw more just for fun. I do enjoy making art, but I sometimes don't make the time to do it. So every day I want to make at least a little doodle. The second goal is to actually study my fundamentals, especially anatomy. This I will be able to fit on the weekends, but I will also be open to do it in the weekdays if I can. Now that I have established my goals and the consistency I want to work on these goals, it's time to make the calendar. I made my calendar in my sketchbook, mostly because I think the calendar itself is part of the challenge, and I want to have it here as a record of my challenge. As part of the challenge, I'm going to be leaving my sketchbook open in this page overnight on top of my desk. That way, it's the first thing I see, and I'm reminded every day that I need to make something today. You can do this however you want. Tape your calendar in the wall or pin it, whatever is easier for you to see the calendar, but also to work on the calendar as the month progresses. So I made my calendar in grid form, mostly because that's part of the aesthetic, but also because it leaves enough spaces in between each day, and every day looks more spaced out. If I wanted to draw inside these squares, which I will later, I have more space to do that. I went ahead and made some horizontal lines beside each number. The reason for this is that it will act as a sort of bullet journal. I will be filling up the squares every time I draw for fun in a given day, or every time I practice the fundamentals. Also, this is the reason why it's such a good idea to make the calendar itself. I used little computer windows popping up as part of the aesthetic, but they also serve as reminders for my two goals. I will be using the color blue to indicate I did do art for fun, and I will be using the color green to indicate I studied my fundamentals. These are the colors I will be using to fill in the bullet journal type squares every day. And I'm leaving a third window for any reminders or drawing that I can think of as the month progresses. As I mentioned earlier, I made my theme Frutiger Aero, 90s and 80s retro. I think the aesthetic is really fun, but there are also many doodles associated with these aesthetics too. Like, for instance, old school computers, Game Boys, video games, floppy disks, cassette tapes, etc. This is important because for days I am not able to draw, I will be making little doodles in the calendar for that day. For example, I did not draw on April 1st or 2nd. So I drew a little bunny and psychedelic 90s style flowers for those days. I made the calendar on the 3rd, and that counts as an art day. But if, for example, I don't manage to draw on the 4th, I can draw another little doodle that day. This ensures I make use of the calendar every day. The calendar is supposed to remind me of my goals and keep me accountable of these goals. But if I'm not able to draw one day for XYZ reasons, I can always make a small doodle that day to decorate my calendar. And this way, I'm still making a conscious effort to create a habit. It's a small step, but that's how habits are formed. Now, on days I am able to make art, I can just fill in the little square with the corresponding color as explained earlier, and then write down what I did that day. For example, I'm counting the 3rd as calendar making day because I did draw and decorate it. However, honestly, you can do whatever you want. Maybe you'd like to make a comic strip using every day as a cell, Or maybe you'd like to make a 2-page spread calendar and make a small doodle every day for this month. I remember that's how I started making art. I started making small doodles every day. So yeah, have fun and get creative. No, we are not starting late. I came up with this idea a bit later than I would have liked to, but you're not late. You just need to start. Anyway, that's it. Hope this helps. I made it because I made the same sort of calendar on March for normal habits like drinking water, working out, etc. And it actually worked. So hopefully this will help others and myself achieve our art goals. So yeah, take care and see you soon. Look at the little flower. It's giving a bombastic side eye for not drawing that day. Just kidding. Relax and go at your own pace. See you soon.